Well, hello there, everyone. It's like you talked about right here is discover plants and lawn is like talking about is if most of us have a have any property or if walked anywhere where there was any type of a say lawn or if it was any type of land it is knowing about the types of places where they're more likely that there will be sidewalks. It is as you see right here is I went ahead and drew a picture right here, say of me, like a cartoon character right there of me if I would be walking around the lawn. It is, but basically the showing right here is that whenever I would be walking somewhere, I noticed that a lot of times there would be like what you call like plants. There would be plants. You say unrecognized plants it was. Besides rocks or anything like that, that more likely you would find outside it was. But it's basically it would be like which is plants it is, and one of them of course would be like what you call like poison ivy type plants or poison oak or if they're going to have another particular name for any type of other plant it is. Yeah, such as what you call like a any type of plant that more likely you may be allergic to, cause rashes or anything like that. But a lot of ways it's like you got right here is the poison ivy, which I know for sure like I'm allergic to poison ivy. It is, but basically if you have these type of plants right here, it is with these if you can maybe call them plants or anything that you may find in the fields or in the lawn it is, and anybody can maybe think about if you're going to be hiking somewhere. It is a lot of times that not really about the plants, but like the bugs. If you have going to have like a ticks and chiggers, or if it's a grass, if you're going to be getting any type of a bug related issues that you say that you say if we were to do the study about where they gnaw on the skin it is, but anyway, but using this like use the purple marker, the purple, you got the purple marker right here. It is, but go ahead and use the purple crayon. That go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and show. It's like just use the purple crayon here to go ahead and color in a part right here of the tree. And anybody may be thinking about that. Usually, if you're going to change colors, a lot of times if you're going to be using like what you call just to show a type of scenery, of course, in some type of art sketch it is. But basically, go ahead and use the same color right here, and just do different different sceneries. Of course, you see in this drawing right here, you got right here is the tree, and of course, if you got right here is the grass. It is. If you got right here is the lawn. And let's just say if there was like what you call like a gate, right here it was. Just put a little pressure, a little bit more pressure on the crayon right here. If there was like we say is a fence right here. A lot of times if you'll be walking somewhere that you would see a few plants and stuff like that that may not be recognizable. It is. That they may not be recognized, and on the other hand too that knowing about that since they're not recognized that if you're going to be like maybe like some kids, and then of course if you're just going to be outside playing in the lawn, it is a lot of times it just seems like that I don't know really what all you may find though in the yard. It is if it's what you call like if anybody's afraid about picking up something, and then somebody, if it's a bee, I know a lot of times if I'm outside, especially in the summertime, if you're going to be worried about that maybe any young kids or anything like that, be outside, pick up something and they wind up getting hurt. Well, whatever it is, I remember that back those couple of years ago, that a lot of times it was the frogs, the toads and stuff like that. There's quite a few of them. That would come out, especially late at night, and then I would pick them up, and then of course maybe that could explain to why that I had gotten a few warts, those little bumps you say on your hands it was, but that a lot of times that they say that you get those little bunny I got them on my hand a couple of times. I think two of them on my hand before, but some people probably think about that they may gotten them on their leg it was, but anyway, down here's a few bushes right here, and I can maybe put a tree right here. It is with the the branches right here, and I with the leaves right here. It is, and just using the purple right here. But anybody probably think about it, if you're going to be walking around somewhere in the lawn, it is going to put part of the gate right here, but and then knowing about it, be walking somewhere, and then all of a sudden you see these unusual looking plants. It's like, especially like anybody probably think about is the pollen, and a lot of times that I'll go ahead and stay with the purple here. But anyway, but if it was a lot of times, it's like if it was any type of pollen, it is that you would find, you say in the yard, it is, or if it's any type of any type of grassy looking plant that's sprouting above the ground, it is. Like these right here, I remember seeing a lot of these, would say that the pollen type look, say on on the top it is, and we could probably think about is that that you pick it up, and then some people probably think about there's something that maybe bite on, just kind of carry it around, pull it out of the ground, whichever it is, if it's a flower or a mushroom, whichever it is. And we could probably think about that, because I always wondered, of course, to why, if I were to be going out in the yard at one time, and then knowing about that the grass was only about maybe about say 3 inches tall, something like that. I'll be going out in the grass, and then I'll lay down on the grass. I would, if anything, I would only have maybe a short sleeve shirt on, and of course with some shorts on, and I can remember lying in the grass it was, and just knowing about that after about 5 or 10 minutes of being playing in the grass, it was lying down on the grass, that I noticed that that I would feel real itching. Apparently that I had like skin irritation, it was. And a lot of times, I'm just like, at the time, I don't know really what that was. I kept thinking about maybe I was allergic to the grass, but it's possible that allergic to something, to whatever that was in the grass it was. In the lawn it was. And but we could probably think about it's like knowing about what any type of plant it is that if you're going to have weeds, it is somewhere, then knowing about that the types of lawn equipment that you can buy, of course, just to control. It's like for to prevent weeds from sprouting, of course, in the yard it is. And especially if you're going to have a garden, it is that more likely you would like to get some weed eliminator, it is. And I'm not familiar with any kind that there is, but I'm sure that there's something such as Malekio or something like that. The Malekio Spy Watch or anything like that, or something like that you'll be able to buy. I mean, that's just the thing about me, that I have never bought. I don't have hardly any experience buying any type of lawn equipment. It is such as weed killer or gardening tools. I think I had a few of them at the house where I used to live, but I don't have too much experience of knowing about that. They used to go to the hardware store and buy whatever I needed, of course, for my yard or something like that. Any fertilizer? And he was like, have you ever bought fertilizer? If I remember right, I think maybe once or twice I may have bought fertilizer, but other than that, I don't recall buying anything else related to like what you call weed killer or anything like that. But basically, you have right here is like with me right here, and using an orange here is go ahead and color in right here. It's like with the sidewalk it is. Anybody could probably think about with most sidewalks, as you see right here, is I went ahead and drew the weeds growing in through those through the level cracks right there. It's like from the sidewalk it is. If you consider them cracks, it is. And knowing about that most of the time that hey, that eventually that with those weeds, if they're going to wind up causing any type of cracks or something like that in the ground, it is. Any kind of cracks in the ground, or if it's or if they're just going to be there throughout the summer, and then they're going to go ahead and that and then wind up leaving. It's like wind up fading out until the next year, whichever it is. But anyway, that you have right here, go ahead and use the details right here. It's like, which should I go ahead and use? I guess I can go ahead and use as the marker right here, the green marker. But anyway, that you have right here is the plants right here. You see the poison ivy type plants right here. But basically, that we could probably think about that. These particular it's like plants. It is with these plants. It is knowing about what they are and knowing about if they're really safe to touch. And a lot of times they could probably think about that. That we can also know that if we're going to be walking somewhere, then knowing about what's safe to touch and what's not safe to touch it is. But the way I think about it, I might that just be careful for what you do find, and knowing about that. Anybody probably think about that. Really, if you find a dollar bill on the sidewalk, whichever it is like knowing about if it's a dollar or if it's anything interesting that you may find on the ground. It is, but on the other hand too, that knowing about that that anything that you may find on the ground, you probably think about maybe today's your lucky day or whatever you call it. But on the other hand too, that knowing about a lot of things, I have not really found too much anything that really interesting on the ground before. I found some money at times, but on the other hand too, that it was like that with the plants though, with these type of around the bushes, and of course with other things that I may have found around around the area it is, and around anywhere where I was walking it was. But basically, go right here is go ahead and go back to the purple. It is go ahead and go back to the purple, and anybody probably thinking about that the different things that maybe you can do with the purple, right? Got the bushes right there. But anyway, that if you've seen the purple already, if anybody wants to know about what the different things maybe I can do, of course with the green right here, is go ahead and add it's like I had some green right here for the fence, and of course right here bark of the tree. A couple of times, a few trees I've seen whenever I would be walking around, one of them looked like it was hit by a bolt of lightning, or maybe trimmed. I think somebody may have trimmed a little bit of it. You say on the side, trimmed some of the branches off or something like that. I think one of them that did not even have branches or leaves on it at all. But anyway, that we all know I'm like that. About so far as summer yard work it is knowing about you see the trees and stuff like that. You see trees, and then at the time you begin to wonder about that. Are they what you call these giant toothpicks or anything like that, or are they just there? I'm like that. You see these trees and stuff that don't have no leaves on them, and then of course the limbs and you see the tree limbs and stuff like that look all twisted and bent, like maybe if a bad storm that came through and twisted them all up, whichever it is, especially at the swimming pool. Anybody probably thinking about if you want to go ahead and draw a swimming pool, I don't know about a green green type look on the swimming pool. Just say go ahead and draw like what you call like a swimming pool at about right here. It is got the swimming pool, and it's like anybody probably think about. You try to draw a swimming pool, of course, with the green crayon, huh? Like what's, but it's just like to say the outline of it. It's like guy right here is the swimming pool. Go ahead and draw, a swimming pool at about right there. The different things that you see, of course, in the lawn nowadays, at the time you begin to wonder what is it, because a lot of times when people are leaving the pools and stuff, I'm sure that quite a few kids and stuff like that don't even have shoes on, or they got flip-flops on or something like that, and they don't if they will be walking or hiking somewhere, and all of a sudden it's like that they may step on something maybe sharp. I don't know. I don't know about maybe a garden hose or anything like that. That they may step on something sharp. It is, and knowing about that it's like, hey, it's you watch out where you're going. It is, but anyway, that But you have right here, it's like, let's just say if you find something interesting in it, this is like knowing about that yeah, you know, in case if the camera, you know, runs out of battery charge, it's like talking about, it's like that, you know, what you need, of course, is maybe the backup AC connector it is, or maybe a solar power charger, whichever it is, huh? But anyway, what you have right here is that with and besides shades, it is that the, you know, things that you can do, of course, with the colors it is, and knowing about that, the things that you see, of course, whenever you're outside, it is, if it's what you call like the lawn, or if it's anything related to like what you call like any type of weeds or anything like that in the ground, it is. A lot of times if it's hiking in the woods or anything like that, we begin to wonder about that. It's like, really. Yeah, I can. Oh man, yeah, I can. I wonder where that came from, or where. And I could probably tell anybody here that at one time, it's not on the sidewalk, but I have caught poison ivy one time, and of course that was whenever I was very young. It was, but on the other hand too, that it was like you know, kind of miserable stuff because you know, you break out, and they say that. You know, scratching relieves, I guess, the tension, of course, on the rash it is. But on the other hand, too, that at the time, if you get to wonder, that I keep thinking about that maybe you're spreading it. That it goes from if you were to get it on your arms, and then if you were to touch your legs, and then you may get a little bit on your legs and stuff like that. But on the other hand, too, that knowing about that, if you're going to be catching anything such as, you know, poison, and knowing about that, you know, each time whenever I'm walking somewhere, I usually try to, you know, bathe, you know, the bath up, and or take a shower, you know, something like that. I might, you know, think about, you know, shaving also, but on the other hand, too, that you have right here is like anybody probably think about for like the summer color that you have right here, a little bit of red. Right here, it's like for sunshine. It's like if it's peeking through the trees or something like that. But anybody, but talking about, it's like the discover of the plants and lawn is basically if you're walking somewhere and you see right there is a plant it is, and knowing about the type of plant that you may see, if it's like anything related to pollen or anything like that, it's like basically like oh look. What's that supposed to be, huh? But other than that you have these little pollen type things. Anybody probably think about that? Yeah, whenever you cut the grass, it is, and then knowing about whenever they spew it in the air, if that's really what causes the allergies to come through, it is. But right here is the sidewalk right here. But other than that you have is the markers, and of course with the crayons right there, and just knowing about that with the different things that you can find, it is so far as for be careful. It's like for be careful, and more likely anybody probably thinking about really what does that mean necessarily. What does that mean necessarily? In a lot of ways, it's like. Yeah, it's like it doesn't mean think twice before you actually do something, before you actually cross the road. It is think twice before you actually like, oh well, I didn't look the other way. It's like it's like at the time you get to wonder about why did the elephant cross the road, huh? Why did the elephant cross the road? Well, maybe the joke should be is like, why did you cross the road, especially with only one shoe on? And like, well, I got both shoes. I got both shoes, and like knowing about maybe with no and then by the time you get across the road, it is, and then the next thing you know it, that you begin to tuck your shirt in, you forget that to pull up your pants, whatever it is. And on the other hand too, that like really, why did the elephant cross the road? Really, why did the elephant cross the road? So that way, he wouldn't, he would not have to reach so far. Like be like this, like an yeah. Oh, an elephant, huh? Like an yep, that's right. An elephant right here. And I'm not really talking about like anybody talking about it like any type of dumb, but anyway, you have right here is the elephant trunk right here. It's like knowing about that. Well, I'm not gonna cross the. Yeah, I went ahead and crossed the road so that way I would not have to reach so far just to get what I wanted to get. It was. Anybody probably thinking about it. Right, huh? An elephant, huh? Like, I would think that the more likely, the elephant will go ahead and cross the road if it's what you call, like, get him maybe a snack such as cotton candy or anything like that, or maybe a beautiful flower. It was maybe a beautiful flower. Anybody probably thinking about a beautiful flower? But on the other hand, too, to know about, would the elephant cross the road? Of course, maybe just to just to discover what he calls like the gold apple, or would the elephant cross the road? Of course, just to find out, if there was a pool across the road, that he want to get a better look maybe of the summer event or anything like that. But other than that, so far it's like so that way he would not have to reach so far. But other than that, like talking about right here is basically talking about it's like so far as to discover plant and lawn coloring activity.